What's up, Dune fans? Welcome back to the latest episode of Decoding Dune, where we have been working our way through the Dune Trilogy by Frank Herbert, meaning the first book, Dune, followed by Children of Dune and Dune Messiah. Or is it Dune Messiah and Children of Dune? I always get confused. It's been a long time since I've read these, but we're going through the first three books because those are the three books that are being currently filmed right now. We are into chapter 10 of the first novel. We've been doing these episodes every week on Thursdays at around 9 or 10 a.m. Central Time. So if you like this video and you haven't already done so and you want more, make sure to check out the rest of the videos in the playlist. Links are down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. And let's go ahead and dive straight in. So as always, we start off the chapter with a quote from Princess Irulan, in this case, the Muad'Dib family commentaries. And this is talking about Lady Jessica here. What had she done to sustain herself during her time of trial? And it says, think upon this Bene Gesserit proverb and see if you can decipher the reason why. Any road followed precisely to its end leads precisely nowhere. Climb the mountain just a little bit to test that it's a mountain. From the top of the mountain, you cannot see the mountain. That's kind of deep. So basically talking about perspective here, about sometimes you can't see the problem when you're right in the middle of the problem. You have to get perspective to understand what you're in the middle of. And the chapter starts off here with Jessica continuing to explore their new home on Arrakis, having just come from basically the only home she's known for a long time, um, and settling in. And she's wondering why the staircase has led to an oval door because she ponders, why oval? That's a very strange shape for a door in a house. Very interesting here. The door has no handle, and she wonders if this is a palm lock, which she finds to be very interesting given the fact that palm locks are generally keyed to an individual hand shape and the palm lines. So it's like a fingerprint reader essentially. This is funny because this is like before fingerprint readers and eye scanners and everything else that we have these days, the biometric stuff, which is only getting more and more advanced every year. But it's kind of fun when you look back at science fiction, how much science fiction influences the innovations and um, inventions of the things we see in films and reality. But she says here to herself, there were ways to open a palm lock that she had learned in school. And here she's basically furtively glancing around to make sure no one's watching as she goes on to pick the lock. Just as Mapes comes up the stairs. So really curious, is this happening right before because Mapes is here asking where Paul is. So is this right before the Hunter Seeker, which was in the previous chapter? Hmm. Also, interestingly enough, as Mapes heads out, she casts a glance at the door, and Jessica thinks she detects loathing in her look, in her face. But before she has a chance to actually ask what's gone, Mapes is gone. And she's thinking to herself here, Jessica, is that, Hawat certified this place. There surely can't be anything that terrible throughout the palace. But as she opens it, she realizes that she's in an airlock. And she notices as well a door prop with Hawat's personal mark on it. And she's wondering, why is there an airlock in a house? Thinking about exotic creatures and special climates. And that triggers something in her brain because on Arrakis, growing things even there, here on Arrakis, they would need special climate to grow things and irrigate things. And she sees a faint inscription on the door to the airlock going in. Here is a lovely portion of God's creation. Stand before it and learn to love the perfection of thy supreme friend. She enters into basically a greenhouse here, essentially. A wet planet conservatory is what it says. She mentions being shocked here. Shocked because water was being wasted in such a conspicuous manner. um, on a planet where water was the very, most precious thing. And here's this whole room dedicated to plants that serve no purpose other than just to be pretty. You know what I mean? It's not like they're feeding a population. It's a pretty little greenhouse. Also estimates that this room probably was using enough water to support 1,000 people, 1,000 bodies. That's a that's an excessive amount of water. Oh, and she notices that there's a note on the table. It says, "May this place give you as much pleasure as it has given me. Please permit the room to convey a lesson we learned from the same teachers. A proximity of a desirable thing tempts one to overindulgence. On that path lies danger. My kindest wishes, Margaret Lady Fenring." And she says here that she remembered that Leto had referred to the Emperor's former proxy here as Count Fenring. As she read this, she says her mind is flickering and she's seeking the hidden message, which had to be here. Because it says here the visible note had the code phrase, "Every Bene Gesserit not bound by a school injunction was required to give another. On that path lies danger." So this is obviously a code for her. And she starts to look over the note. She's looking around the room, etc. And notices a leaf above the pad, above the pad, excuse me, and she finds a coded message raised underneath the surface of the leaf. "Your son and your husband are in immediate danger. There's been a bedroom designed to attract your son." It says the Harkonnen obviously have loaded it up with booby traps that are meant to be discovered, um, but also leaving one that may escape detection. Hmm. She says she immediately resisted the urge to rush to Paul's defense because there's more stuff here to read. Something about a bed, and so this is before or right as the Hunter Seeker's happening because the headboard was what flipped forward and the Hunter Seeker came out. The threat to your Duke is going to involve the betrayal of a trusted individual to the house. The Harkonnen are going to give you, Jessica, as a gift to someone from the Harkonnens. Uh. Oh, and here's Paul just jumps into the room all of a sudden. How did he find his way here? And he's got the Hunter Seeker in his hand. And he's just gonna use the water to short it out. So they do. Leave it in the water. It's dead, by the way. What's up, everybody? Quick commercial break here to give it a shout out to our guild champions, who are the highest tier memberships here on YouTube: Ancient Entity, Assassin Gamer 94, Babylonia Rising, Crazy's Relative, Mujin, and Remedy. Thanks so much for the highest tier membership. And thanks to all of the members who support the channel, because you keep me doing this full time. You too can become a supporter if you're new here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Join as a member. There's 3 different tiers. We do lots of special stuff, private polls, private videos. You get a shout out if you're the highest tier membership, but you can also do one-off donations in the form of super chats on any live stream or premiere you see, and of course super thanks on any upload or YouTube short. Whatever you can contribute, it's great. Keeps me on the air full time, keeps the cats fed, keeps the homestead running. Anyway, back to the video, everybody. Paul wants to know why she thinks this room's safe. She points to the note, explains it slightly. She's freaking out inwardly about the Hunter Seeker. And Paul is just like sitting here very matter of factly. He goes, "Obviously the Harkonnens. We're going to have to get rid of them. We're going to have to destroy their whole family." But they found the man with the Seeker console. He's been there about a month waiting for them. He was mortared over. So they sealed him in. I love this part where Paul says, "When my father is bothered by something you've done, he says Bene Gesserit like a swear word." That's hilarious. Now I don't think she's told Paul yet about what's in the letter, and he's thinking to himself, "I know it will worry my mother, but I probably need to tell her what Mapes said about there being a traitor amidst us." Oh, then as this is going on, she decides to show Paul the message on the leaf. Ooh. Lady Jessica says there's another possibility, which is that this message was specifically given to me to sow distrust among us. That's an interesting thought. Paul wonders, he says, I don't think it's Howitt, excuse me. Is it possible it's Yue? Hmm. Couldn't be Gurney, couldn't be Duncan. They're trying to figure out who it might be. Oh, and this is where, so they're in here as the sun is going down. They're looking out through the filter glass, and they think they see something outside. Initially they think it's a star, but then they realize it's the blink, 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 blink of someone signaling coming from the shield wall cliffs. But it was in no code that she had ever seen. And then they see another light in the plain below, and then another one to their left winking back at the cliff, and then they're all of a sudden gone. And she said she felt immediately a premonition. This had to be done by agents of the Harkonnens. Dun dun dun. Well, that's going to lead us to next week's chapter. So, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Let me know your thoughts. This was sort of a. I really like the way this was portrayed in the greenhouse room in the film, as well as in the Sci-Fi Channel adaptation. This part was really well done. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this chapter. Drop them down below. I'll see everybody in the next week. Cheers, everybody.